Previously in X-Men, Rachel Summers is on the run from Wolverine, who recently attacked her with the intent to kill. The Inner Circle is also on the hunt for young Phoenix, with the X-Men hoping to find her first. All the while, Nimrod, the mutant-killer from the future, hunts them all. I am Jason Lapidus.
I am Chris Sanagan.
And we are Group of Seven Comics. Welcome to episode 138 of our ongoing Tuesday night live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic, as we read Uncanny X-Men 209 by Chris Claremont, John Romita Jr., Peter Craig Russell, cover date of September 1986. Chris Sanagan, sir, how are you?
I'm doing great. I don't know if this happened where you are in your part of the world, which is only about an hour east of myself. But this evening, it's October 1st, but up until now in southwestern Ontario, it's been rather warm for this time of year. And not too autumnal. I like that word, autumnal. But tonight, I went out and I was playing Dungeons and Dragons with my kid and our neighbors. And I left, and it was like I heard rain. It was cooler. I was like, "Oh, it's feeling more." And I don't know about everybody here, but definitely fall is a season I enjoy. So I just thought that was really cool. So now I'm like excited. Like feels folly. I don't know. Is that the same where you were?
Yeah, sure, man. I'm already wearing my flannels.
Right?
You know,
yeah, like your plaid over your tee, like you know.
Yeah,
cardigans.
I'm into it. Yes, it's definitely getting that time here, and it's time for Inktober.
Yes.
So for those of you who like social media, like Instagram, there are usually a slew of drawing challenges this month. So head on over to I'm going to change the view here for a moment. Head to Jason Lapidus art. You can follow. I'm doing Battober this year, which is I think maybe my third consecutive year participating in that drawing challenge. The idea is every day there is a prompt word, and we are to draw with ink, and that according to that Batman themed prompt. So today's prompt is Swarm. My piece is there. It's almost finished. I'll try and get that done after our show, and then start into the next one, which I have a few of them sketched out, but it takes a little bit of time to do the inking. And I decided I kind of wanted to do comic book covers this time, as opposed to just I've really enjoyed the few times I had a chance to do comic covers for commissions. They've been a lot of fun. So adding those the trade dress and those cover elements like a logo and such, I really enjoy doing those by hand. So they're a lot of fun. And so Battober, you can follow me along there, but really follow Chris Somney. Right, it's his drawing challenge.
His stuff's pretty decent.
He has it down to a science, and of course his new Batman book, Batman and Robin Year One, is coming out in 2 weeks, so that should be super fun.
Also, shout out to friend of the show, previous guest Scott Chandler, who is doing. So Scott's been doing obviously a fantastic cartoonist as well, and has done Battober. He a couple years ago did a Soup-tember because he just wanted to mix it up, and this year he's doing a Pulptober where he has come up with a bunch of props. For pulp characters from the last pulpy eras of comics and stories and books, and so that is something I think Scott Chandler just is the handle on Instagram. Check it out. It's going to be great. I know it's going to be great. Just a few other Inktober adjacent accounts if you're going to enjoy seeing some fine comics cartooning artwork.
Scott's stuff is awesome, and I looked at his Pulptober list. He shared it early on, and it gave time to start ahead of them. And I just I've really struggled over the last, let's just say, 2 years with drawing things that I don't love.
Sure.
And I'm not referring to Group of Seven comic stuff. I mean things that I'm being asked to draw outside of that. Like that, the whole idea of working commercially. It can be a real drain sometimes on the fountain of youth that fuels creative people. When you kind of get put asked to draw things that you don't love, it's not always as easy. And Batman is something that flows from inside. Just I love that archetype, and so I
Sure.
looked at the Pulptober list. There are a few on there where I was like, oh, I really want to draw that.
Yeah.
But when Chris Somney announced like a week ago, maybe, that he was going to be doing Inktober one last time,
Oh,
that he was
is
pulled
that what
back
he
into
has
it.
said? It's one last time.
I think that was sort of maybe one of the lines he used,
Okay.
just as a, or maybe he said like every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. One of those kinds of things.
Right.
Because he's busy working on Batman and Robin Year One.
Of course.
So once he said he was going to do it again, so the other part of it is I get a really nice response from people in person at conventions from my Batman pieces, and
Yeah.
it's hard to not want to do more of those things when I get a favorable response. So
Mhm.
I as much as I adore Scott and adore Scott's initiative, I know that some of those will be pulling teeth for me to come up with
Sure.
ideas. Where the
Sure.
Batman ones just fly, and my my the amount of Batman references in my head are I can't even
Plentiful.
calculate.
Plentiful.
Yes, whether it's 5 seasons of cartoon of one specific show, all the movies, all the Batman 66,
Yeah.
and then all the comics. There's just so much to pull from. Whereas, like, if I'm drawing, let's say, the Phantom, I have a very few things to pull from, and I don't have a massive love other than.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have said that one. I kind of do love the Phantom, but I don't have a lot to pull out of.
Well, because we're both
but
big Billy Zane fans.
Billy
So
Zane,
that
well,
goes
actually,
without saying. Billy Zane Appreciation Club right here.
it's Catherine Zeta-Jones was the reason I love that movie.
Oh, I
But
mean, I suppose.
to each their own. But seeing characters like Doc Savage on his list, like, that's great. Someone will love doing that. I've never
Yeah.
read any Doc Savage.
Yeah.
So I'm just basically aping a pulp cover that I've seen before, which is fine. And that is a good challenge. That's why it is an art challenge. It's like, can you find a way to do these things when it's not coming from the fire that fuels you? Whereas Batman, it's just coming right out of, it's very genuine for me. So
Yeah, and
I
it's
wanted to have something that I didn't have to work hard at in terms of getting the motivation and the ideas, because I'd rather put the emphasis into the art, which is why I want to respond to Massimo's question or his comment. He says, wow, Jason, you're hardcore. I only did a 4x6 sketch. Firstly, I'm so happy you're participating in some way. Like, it's never about more or less or size of art or any of that. It's just about getting what you need out of it, right? Like any good yoga experience is about getting the stretch you need. It doesn't matter who goes deeper into that stretch or holds it longer. You just get the stretch you need. And I wish that I could just do a 4x6 sketch and feel happy, but I just, for whatever reason, how I am, Chris. I get these grand ideas sometimes, and I want to sort of take it to a level that pushes my ability to actually ever complete and follow through. So, doing a cover with a logo is nice to look at, but it takes more time. And I did prep. I went and found all the black and white logos I want, or turned them into black and white. And I have a file now with all these logos properly spaced out, so I can just slap them on to a file and then print it, and then draw over top of those things. So they're there,
It's
which is
gonna
a lot
look
of fun.
cool.
Yeah.
Look cool.
Chuck says, if it's Tuesday night, it must be X-Men. Adding a Billy Zane vertical to pair with Oasis Talk is a smart move for the channel. I agree. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Michael says, hello, everyone. Chuck also wants to know, Chris, are you the DM for your kids' game?
I'm not. I'm just a humble ranger named Apple Cheeks.
Named, what was that?
Apple Cheeks.
Apple Cheeks.
Yeah, Apple Cheeks. I
I
have
think
a
you should
grand moustache.
You should probably change your name here as well.
To Apple Cheeks. Yeah, it's actually in reference, because we have the time and the captive audience. There's an old goaltender back in the day, Harry Apple Cheeks Lumley, Hall of Fame goaltender, I believe, played in the 1940s to about 1960s. And that was his nickname. I love that nickname because his cheeks were so rosy from playing outside on the rinks. They call them apple cheeks.
The idea that a player was playing outside is adorable. You know, I know all those old timers. That was like where they grew up. It was playing outside.
Yeah.
But
and he's from Owen Sound, Ontario, where I spent part of my youth. So that's why.
There you go.
Apple Cheeks. Great Ranger name. Chuck thinks so. Imagine if it wasn't, Viggo Mortensen. What's his character's name? Aragorn. Imagine it was Aragorn, Apple Cheeks. You have my sword. Thank you, Apple Cheeks.
He's also Strider, right? He's both names. And Apple Cheeks is his other name.
Right, Apple Cheeks.
He has
a pub. Exactly. Anyway.
Michael suggests that we should just call October Arttober. There are so many fun drawing challenges that seem inspired, or in the end, just get people participating, get people drawing and doing something fun. It doesn't really matter what the theme is. If people are drawing and having a good time with it, we are all the beneficiaries. Whether it's Cosmic Lions, Kayfabe-tober, whatever one they're doing this time.
That's right.
Or Tom Scioli's Jack-tober, Kirby-tober. Like, it doesn't matter which one we do. Just have fun.
How many characters do we have?
How many characters do we have? 50.
50 characters? Okay.
I made that up. I did make a list last year when I was heading down to Florida.
Do we have 20 named characters? 25
there's,
named characters, 20, 30.
Do I have to pull it up? The reason that I did that was because I was talking with you about card sets.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see.
Sober.
I don't no.
No?
I don't know, man. It feels crazy to do that stuff.
It feels crazy for the internet to take our comic and just make versions of it.
Yeah,
post it on social media. Crazy.
I don't know. I don't want to spend my time looking for this list right now. But
you don't have to.
I did make a list of all those characters. Ooh, here, let me see. Now I know what to look for. The word cards. That should come up. Nope. Seating cards for my wedding? No.
I'd love to know how many characters I've named, but there you go. I don't know. I think it's up your own.
Well, you named a new one yesterday.
Yeah, in a blink of an eye too. That just happened.
You can say the name of the character if you want.
Yeah, the name is. I guess they're all lieutenants. Lieutenant Evangelista.
Yeah, Evangelista.
Yeah, not to spoil where our story's going. But
it doesn't. Nobody
fits. Nobody cares.
Stop putting me on my phone. Nobody cares, and no one would ever suspect the butterfly.
No, of course not.
So don't worry about that. It'll catch people by surprise.
Time reference.
Yeah, Apple Cheeks.
Apple Cheeks.
That's good. So, all that brings us, of course, to this beautiful thing. Let's quickly talk just about Peter Craig Russell, or P. Craig Russell, as he's often listed as. He is on doing inks on this cover, I believe. I'm looking for a signature. I don't even see one. But on the issue, he is there as the finisher. And, guest finisher. With comics and the system in the States in the 20th century, they had to create a rate of pay for an assembly line job. So you create these words that describe a set of tasks completed that then they can assign a rate of pay to. And of course, looking at keeping this within the X-Men context, when John Byrne is plotting out issues casually with Chris Claremont, they're not dividing up who gets the writer credit. And if Chris Claremont gives instruction or guidance as to how a page should look, like maybe an idea for, this is an idea for a layout, he's not getting any kind of money for creating or guiding the visual element. That's just not the nature of that assembly line Marvel system that's in place. So there are a few things. So when Bill Sienkiewicz paints Elektra Assassin. This amazing, like he's painting, he's drawing, and then doing full paintings for each page. There was no rate of pay for an artist that does all the things in the way he did it. So they just paid him as a colorist. They didn't know what to call it. So, he was kind of getting screwed on that side because they didn't really have a way to describe the tasks he's doing. So one of the categories that's there are breakdowns and finishes. And that is basically when the penciler takes less of a role in how much detail they put down. So they just kind of put the panels in place. They maybe draw a quick gesture of the figure, but they don't render out all the details tightly for then the inker to come and make into black and white line art or black line art on white. In this case, you bring in another artist who just does more of the information based on a very loose structure from the one who would have been a penciler. So the question is, why is John Romita Jr. shifting from pencils to just breakdowns? When he starts the series, he's on breakdowns, and Dan Green or another inker is doing more of the work, and they're doing finishes. I think it was because he was maybe on 2 books or 3 books, and he was kind of a rookie, and they were working with him a little bit, or earlier in his career. In this case, I think it's because he's also working on Starbrand. So this is not actually September, although that's the cover date. This is probably coming out in June, around then. And as I move forward, there's Starbrand coming out in July. So he's working on both probably at the same time, and it just isn't time to do all the completed pencils on X-Men. So his time on X-Men is coming to an end rapidly. I think he's got maybe 2 more issues after this. And his last issue, he doesn't even draw the whole thing. So we're going to get there very, very soon. In 2 weeks with, of course, Anthony Falcone.
That's right.
Speaking of Falcone, have you started watching The Penguin yet?
No, I don't have Crave.
That's, by the way, a joke with my friends. That one of them always says, but I don't have Crave. That's like an ongoing. Shouts to Dave out there who doesn't have Crave.
Out of day. No, but yep. And I'm not looking for it online. But no, I haven't. Have you started watching it?
I watched the first episode yesterday while working on this Batman piece.
Oh, that seems appropriate.
Yeah, it's a super solid show. I mean, I don't know if I love it yet, and that's okay. But no complaints or no big omissions. It did quickly remind me the contrast between most of the Disney shows of late and then this one not by Disney, which was the show really figured out how to make the viewer feel empathy and connected to the protagonist right away. So he's not likable. He's not beautiful.
No.
There's no reason to want to root for Penguin, but some good writing and good acting. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I feel bad for this guy.
Right.
So create sympathy for him right away. And so by the end of the first episode, I'm actually kind of rooting for him to take down the Gotham crime bosses and become the guy, which is not easy to do, but they did some strategic things to make me root for old Oswald
there.
Yeah. What a gross costume that guy has to wear, man. It's awful. Anyway, there is the original art for this cover. I think it's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Top notch.
We haven't been a fan of a lot of JR's covers. I think probably maybe it's an even 50-50 split, not sure, but this one's great. This one stood out.
Down to that one character thing again. I think that's the magic sauce. It's like, get your hero doing something heroic. That pose is just, as the kids say, fire. And the crumbling wrists, like those, it's so good. It's so good. And in color, it's great too. I mean, it's strong, really strong work. Very impressive, sir. Let's bring in this amazing. Yep, you will adjust. I'm not capable of adjusting that.
What the heck? Hold on.
No, it's okay. We're used to this. This is a thing.
I don't know why this happened. It didn't happen for the longest time. And now it just happens.
You know what, Chris? As you get older,
things change.
Sometimes
Hold on.
Hey, our new banner arrived today.
Right,
Our
that's
new
cool.
convention banner arrived. It's quite striking, sir.
Good.
Quite striking. Yeah, I think you'll dig
It
it.
should strike people.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Shares.
I'm looking forward to having, a kind of created some brand colors, either accidentally or on purpose. Shifted again. I see it. It did the little dance at the very end. It was good, and then it just did the jump.
Let me try this thing. Hold on.
Yeah, you try a thing. It's beautiful. Look at that.
How have you got to fix it on your end? Why is it like some things, and it's not like I change it every time?
No, I'm not sure how you fixed it. There you go. Oh, it feels like as it loads, it does one step that we don't want it to do.
Right.
Yeah. I'll edit this out in post. So everyone who's live streaming with us has to endure.
Yeah.
But I will cut this out for anyone who watches in the replay after a couple days.
Just try to think.
I know you're not doing anything different from time to time.
No.
Yeah. Is it different devices by any chance?
No, everything's the same. That's the weird thing. Hold on.
Yeah, you're the same.
Come on, present.
It's okay.
I don't even know.
I love how it does that.
Well, we're good.
Okay, good.
Jeez.
You are amazing. I told you.
All the clickety clacks.
Yeah. So, Uncanny X-Men 209. Beautiful cover. Good old Nimrod.
Good old Nimrod.
Gotta love Nimrod. And then the first page, I think it's awesome too. This is like, to me, this is a place where colorist shines, picking obviously the cool colors for what's happening down below on the ground in Central Park. The characters, putting them in just that one, a little bit of cyan, so that we're not distracted. Like we're not busy looking at all the detailed colors. Put everyone in kind of just the monochromatic. It's great. Good cover.
Yeah.
Good splash.
Great splash, for sure.
All right, you ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to a particular performance from you.
Hmm.
I wonder if you can figure it out. Stanley presents Salvation, starring the Uncanny X-Men. I love how the little Calabac is up there, too, by the letter N in Salvation. So cool. In Central Park, midway through this fine spring night, 9 mutants have just heard their collective death warrant pronounced by a machine designed and constructed for that purpose alone. I think that's awesome. That's a great page.
Totally.
I like Nimrod's feet. I like his design in this too. I'm digging all of it. Most of these mutants are the Lords Council of the Hellfire Club, leaders of a secret cabal whose goal is world domination. Selene is their Black Queen.
Nimrod, the mechanism calls itself, after the greatest hunter in history and legend. Well, creature, Selene is a legend herself, and a power to be reckoned with.
So I didn't know that Nimrod was the name of the greatest hunter.
So that's... do we have a point of context for that?
I'm guessing from some mythology somewhere.
Well,
there's a guy named Nimrod.
Right
I'm going to let you look it up another time, or someone in the chat. That's cool with me.
Nimrod, the son of Cush, and therefore the great-grandson of Noah.
Okay.
Biblical figure
biblical
in the book of Genesis and the book of Chronicles.
Okay, cool.
The Bible states he was a mighty hunter. There you go.
Yeah, Chuck says Nimrod is the hunter from Genesis
in
the Bible. There you go. Well done, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck.
Yeah, and Dan Alvin says, I just reread 175 to 258 straight through for the first time since the 80s when I was a kid. So this is especially timely and salient for me. That is a lot of X-Men to read there, Dan.
Impressive.
But a great X-Men nonetheless. Friedrich von Rohm is the Black Rook. transformed by Selene into a bloodlusting man-beast. She is his goddess, and he would die for her, but he'd much rather kill. Tessa has no title, but wherever Sebastian Shaw, the Black King, ruler of the Lord's Cardinal, goes, she is always by his side or at his side. Analysis, Tessa.
We face an extraordinarily sophisticated
ahead, dude.
robot, Sebastian. Its capabilities are as yet unknown, but it would be prudent to assume the worst.
Harry Leland is the Black Bishop. Shaw is so confident, curse him. Why can't I be as strong? Heart's pounding too fast. Need a drink. I want to run away. Does he know I'm afraid? Does that robot, those eyes, like a shark's, utterly without mercy, so alien and yet so human, so delicious and tender. I like that the way this page is laid out, we're actually going around clockwise.
Mm-hmm.
So in this moment, we're kind of reading from right to left, as the next panel is going to be, of course, Storm and Shadowcat, which is odd, but totally flows perfectly because of the way this is laid out. These two are X-Men, Shadowcat and Storm, outlaw heroes, the Lord's Cardinals, arch foes.
You were in Africa when we tangled with this creep Storm. We're in big trouble.
X-Men 194. And lying nearby, the reason everybody has come to the park, Rachel Summers. And X-Men, Phoenix, who earlier tried to murder Selene, only to be stopped by her teammate, Wolverine. That confrontation left the young telepath more dead than alive. She's been on the run ever since. Can hear other thoughts. Go away. Leave me alone. Too tired. Too much hurt. Can't keep them out. Nimrod! Against him, X-Men will need all the help they can get. Why should I help? They're family. Then why'd Wolverine try his best to kill me? They don't want me. They don't care. I'm better off on my own, and so are they.
Resistance is futile. Once this unit has dealt with current targets, initial target entity Codex Phoenix will be located and neutralized.
He means Rachel.
Storm, we barely beat him last time, and that was with the whole team. What chance have we two got, fighting Nimrod and these Hellfire bozos? Especially when you don't have any powers.
Trust me, Cat. The odds will become a trifle more even. In hardly any time at all. What has she got up her sleeve?
Ooh.
And, as if on cue, the ground shaking. Impossible. Earthquakes can't happen in New York.
Guess again, Tubbo. I can make one wherever I please. Hated abandoning Colossus underground where Fatso Leland trapped him. A lot of body shaming in this one. But Storm's leader, she knows best, I hope.
Rogue!
Oh, did we lose you there for a second?
You have me?
Oh, now I do.
Sorry, dude.
That's okay.
Did any of my reading get out there?
No, I think you're back to that panel after Rogue.
Harry! He's stunned. Now, Shadowcat, with Leland's concentration broken, his mass-shifting power no longer affects Colossus. We can rescue him.
On my way, Storm. Hey, check out that ad for AI. The AI game.
AI? Whoa.
Wow, it's like they knew the future.
And that big one in the middle looks so interested.
I know. But it's the AI
This
game.
is totally a Goonies thing.
It totally is, obviously. Always caves. Always caves. The big lug's as good as saved.
And, taking the deepest breath she can, Shadowcat phases the molecules of her own body through those of the ground, swimming after her trapped comrade with desperate speed. Meanwhile,
what about the robot?
take him next. Mr. Shaw's orders were to eliminate Storm, regardless.
Down, Wind Riders, snipers!
Callisto, I owe you my life.
Who's keeping score? Besides, there are times when the best of enemies have to stick together. Oh, you're cut out again.
They got no cover.
There you go. Evidently, my friend, I teleported us here in the proverbial nick of time in answer to Storm's SOS or the microtransceivers.
Chumps. My blue-furred buddy's Nightcrawler. I'm Wolverine. We're X-Men too. Want a party? Guess not. So what do you think Wolverine showed them in those bushes?
Well, he's already shirtless, by the way. He's already shirtless. So he's
I mean, you know, he showed them crazy.
Is one of you Reese?
Exactly. I got something for you, bud. Marisa already is in pieces. Get
That's
it?
Right. Oh, love it. Love it. How far down did he fall? Suppose it's too deep. Rogue had armored skin. That means she absorbed Colossus's power and psyche. Till that wears off, he'll be unconscious, helpless. He'll need to breathe. So will I soon. He might already have suffocated. No! Darn you, Rachel. Why aren't you here when we really need you? Don't you care?
Your doubled strength is of little use against me, girl. You know full well that I absorb the force of any blow I'm struck with. The harder I'm hit, the more powerful I become.
Ain't that the truth? When we first tussled long before I joined the X-Men, Sean near punched my ticket. But to beat you, sugar, I don't need to hit you. I'll let Nimrod do it. High probability that physical contact with approaching mutant entity will cause this unit damage. Scans further indicate that he is impervious to standard defensive weaponry, effecting alternate threat resolution. By reversing target's gravimetric polarity, so that he will be repelled from the planetary surface into space, which will thereby result in his certain termination.
That's crazy, by the way. Just one quick art thing. P. Craig Russell is known for a few things, and of this time period, he's often associated with inking Mike Mignola.
Really?
So he has a certain tendency to favor the things that Mignola of this time that he was good at, like his stronger sides. So it's kind of neat to see a few of those quirks sort of show up. Maybe it might be some of his black spotting or ink spotting, he's doing, so where he's putting some pools of black, or where he simplifies shape, or where he takes something that could be detailed like a line and just kind of runs through the thicker brush. See some strokes that we're not used to seeing over Romita's pencils. For instance, on Shaw's hair, on the panel where he's being thrown by Rogue, just the way that it doesn't look like Romita's hair. It reminds me of 1986, 87 Mignola hair.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm thinking of stuff that P. Craig Russell has inked. So it's kind of interesting to see once in a while those little ticks that from different inkers.
This issue too, I mean, you're already, into it, and visually the action has been great so far. Like that top panel with Shaw breaking the tree as Rogue ducks. You know what I mean? That's great.
Yeah, and again, those are like big. That's a brush that is not a small brush. Making those marks. So he knows. I mean, he's a really good inker. He's a pro, and knows that don't spend time rendering every bit of bark on that tree and all the leaves. Just communicate what we need to communicate and move on.
Mm-hmm. I am grateful to you, Nimrod, for disposing of my rival. Now to do the same to... No! My ability to animate and manipulate living materials has no effect on this creature. Peter can hold his breath for ages, but I can't. Not much longer. I may already have descended too deep. Is this even the right direction? Am I anywhere near him? Where is he? I'm going to be too late. I know it. I don't care. I won't quit. I'm going to find him. I'm going to save him. I'd meant to tear him apart, but perhaps these boulders can smash? Threat analyzed. Attack neutralized.
Oh, we got in the next ad. Heathcliff and Peter Porker.
Oh, yeah. Is that Rogue? Yeah. What's he waiting for? Why is he holding back?
Evaluating our capabilities, I suspect. Determining our weaknesses, the more efficiently to put an end to us. And why should he attack, when we mutants are all too eager to slaughter each other?
Cute. Powers don't seem to phase it much. Let's try some Hellfire technology. Weapon discharges high-velocity explosive projectiles. Damage to unit negligible and cosmetic.
So much for that idea. Caliban, can you still sense Phoenix? Caliban sees her strange-born aura in his thoughts, but it is very dim. You two can't help here. You're useless to me. I don't know why we have you in this book. Whatever happens to us, Callisto, find Phoenix. Keep her safe.
I'll fly interference for y'all. Storm don't sound too hopeful about this scrap. Can't say I blame her either. Can't fight Nimrod and the Lord's Cardinal.
Leland, individually, none of us is a match for Nimrod. Our only hope is to join forces.
The Hellfire Club needs nothing from you, Green Witch, but your life.
I love his soft shoulders.
So soft.
He's so delicious.
So
What is the worst costume?
the worst costume.
You know, he takes that headband and he says, "I'm gonna put this around."
Headband.
It's really good. It's gonna make my sash pop.
Where is the Marvel legend of this guy?
They have the buck for him. I mean, now I'm planning it out. So
Right.
the body type you need to use is the Doc Ock slash. Is it called Frogman?
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That character.
Yeah.
There is a buck with that torso, and yeah, you can totally make that guy. It's perfect. Chuck says, "How is Kitty moving through all that soil and stone? She's not swimming in it, so what's propelling her downward? So her initial momentum when she goes to dive, because she's able to. She is swimming, dude. And there isn't a really clear answer. So we know that when she wants to go up, she can kind of step on. I don't know, but when she, yeah, I don't know. I think she swims.
I don't know.
I think she swims in steps and just whatever. It's all in her mind. So I don't think it's really good X-Men science on this one. And of course, Chuck also adds that the plucky duck voice for that guy is choice. Yeah, he is wonderful.
Yeah.
Back off, blimp, or we'll match your claws against mine and see who comes out on top. Because I'm a top and you're a bottom. That's not in the script. That's just me ad-libbing. Because I'm taking this moment to enjoy some homoerotic double entendres from Wolverine in this particular issue.
Oh yeah.
Second time now. Okay. Glutton for punishment, huh? Okay, bub, you were warned. Cripes!
So robot disintegrated him.
What? You figured this was a game, elf? Sucker means business. If we keep on fighting, if we keep on the way we are, fighting amongst ourselves, we shall all share Von Rome's fate. Even if they agree, can we trust them? Have we any alternative? This rain also just does not look like Romita and Dan Green.
No.
It's chunkier, and he also inks over sometimes Barry Windsor Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks a little bit like that's in here too. Neat.
Hey, we don't see too many characters disintegrated in these comics.
No, I think this guy's dead.
I think he's dead.
And I think that pile probably smells really yummy.
Well, it's like burned leather and hair.
I'm just thinking of like pulled pork, we need a sauce on this. I have a dark side.
Oh my goodness. I'll bet right when we need them most, those Hellfire creeps will cut and run and let Nimrod do that dirty work for them. Hey, the sky, suddenly the weather's nasty as can be. Wonder if this is Storm's doing.
I wish we took a tally for every time there was an incident where the reader or a character questions if the weather change is Storm's doing since she's lost her powers.
Right.
Claremont keeps alluding to changes in her mood impacting the climate. And it's interesting, maybe. Chuck says pulled pork was his Hellfire Club name.
That's pretty good.
Teach Pass says Black Rook is basically hilariously pudgy gimp without the fetish gear that is used in other books like Miller's Ronin. Yeah, he's something, but he's gone now.
And now he's gone after two issues. He's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't long for this world.
No.
Nimrod has but one purpose: to slay mutants. X-Men or Lords Cardinal. Today or tomorrow, it makes no difference. You may hate us. I hope you love life more. Well, lords and ladies of Hellfire, do we stand together or perish separately?
Wonder how things are going topside. Why is Nimrod after us anyway? What did we ever do to him? I mean, why can't people just leave us mutants alone? That should be like every time Kitty says that, every 4 issues, you take a shot or something. Why can't we just be left alone? Peter! Oh, whoops. He's armored again. His powers reverted from Rogue to him. Gee, I hope that doesn't leave her in the lurch. Drat. I'm ducking his shots, but I don't know for how much longer. Scanalysis complete. Integrating.
I love that.
Scanalysis. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Integrating target rogue's velocity and maneuvering parameters into combat systems, casting shockweb around her. Energy field. Too big, too close, can't stop or dodge. Gonna hit.
Zabam.
Zabam.
What's that? Oh no, Rogue. Can barely perceive her thoughts. She's badly hurt. Big deal. So am I. I can't run away. It's cowardly. It's wrong. The X-Men drove me away. And besides, what good would I be? It's taking nearly all my power just to keep myself alive. Joining that fight is certain suicide. Music? From inside the Delacorte. No one should be there. The theater's closed. Really beautiful. Lights, too. So bright. So many colors. Gates locked. But a telekinetic Jimmy will take care of that. I always thought a telekinetic Jimmy was something else. But anyway. Whoever's doing this...
Jimmy got me in trouble once.
Calling to me. They're on stage. Is it a show?
Is it
that
Dazzler?
panel, that blue tree panel, second one on this page that we're just on. Like again, like that bark. It feels like this could have been that time period Mignola. But again, it's P. Craig Russell's textures during his inking choices. It's just neat how I love all that stuff.
Oh yeah. Can't remember. I guess I can do Spiral.
Sure, man.
Welcome, child, to the body shop, where if you so desire, we'll make a new you.
Okay, this is me talking.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't
No.
understand what the body shop is still, where it is, how it. Okay, magic.
Yeah.
It's X-Men
Like
magic, Mojo
Spiral,
magic.
right? Spiral's shown up.
Yeah,
As part of Freedom Force, and then also
but
assists
right,
Lady
she has her own
Deathstrike.
realm.
Yeah.
She's like a devil witch in that she offers you the thing at a price, the thing that you most desire.
Right.
Yeah, it's so strange for X-Men to have this as like a feature, a reoccurring feature within it. But okay,
I definitely want to go somewhere where I desperately want it to make sense.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me wonder about its inclusion in issue 205 with Wounded Wolf. Was that Claremont's inclusion of that, or was that Barry Windsor Smith's inclusion? And if it's Barry Windsor Smith's, then is Claremont just going to like co-opt it and embrace it as a thing, or Anyway, I'm curious about that because it is weird. I don't understand. Still me, by the way. I still don't.
Still you, yeah.
This is a theater. The stage was bare, empty. How did you?
Magic, of course. A superior establishment stands ever ready to fulfill the dreams of its clientele, anytime, any place. Is Mademoiselle dissatisfied with her appearance? Would Mademoiselle perhaps like a change?
You can do that? Make me look different?
Why else would we be here?
Is that me?
A you that might have been, and may yet, if you like.
I'm so tired. Everybody wants something from me. Things I can't give any longer. All I want is to be left alone a while. Is that too much? Is that so much to ask?
You have come to precisely the right place, dear child, and placed your fate in the most proper and caring of hands.
At that moment, across the park, an uneasy alliance has been forged. Leland, intensify Nimrod's mass to its ultimate extent. Drag him down to the ground.
An inspired stratagem, Wind Rider, judging by our foe's reaction.
Down, Leland! Celine's wall deflected this energy blast. We may not be so fortunate a second time. Whatever happens, do not let up for an instant. Put as much strain on Nimrod's systems as you can. All well and good, X-Men. What about my system?
Oh no. There's a rumbly
Not far away.
In his tumbly.
Yes. And all that butter in his arteries. Not far away in the Central Park Precinct House, NYPD, on the 86th Street Transverse. The evening's activities have not gone entirely unnoticed. What in the blazes?
He's in a forest fire?
In a ramble?
Get some units over there. Check it out. Code 3.
What do you think code 2 is?
I'm pretty sure I know what code 2 is.
Code 2, okay. I thought code 2 would be like, don't check it out.
No,
It's a code 2. Don't check it out. Code 3 is check it out. TH Pass says, I think the body shop was throwing P. Craig Russell a bone because it looks very Elric universe looking. Yeah, that's probably what he's best known for, right? Is his work on Elric, Michael Moorcock stuff. Yeah, he does like fantasy, sword and sorcery stuff really, really well. Chuck says code 2 is lights but no sirens. Is that real?
That's what I say when I'm having a code 2.
I don't know police lingo like code 2 or code 3, but that's interesting. Okay, cool. I thought it was like code 3, let's go, and code 2 is let's not go. Code 1 is, let's wait until someone tells us to go. Right, that's where we are. Gotcha. It's working. He's weakening. I can't. I won't. Not with everyone depending on me.
Mass increasing geometrically. Power diverting from all systems to compensate. He stopped shooting. Now, Storm, while he's vulnerable, I want to try the stunt Rogue used on him last time. Teleporting a piece of him and leaving the rest. The resulting disruption should finish him.
We dare not, Nightcrawler. Precisely because we have used it before.
Worth a try anyway. Don't worry, fearless lady. Leader, I'll be careful.
Kurt, stop! Nimrod is a computer. He learns from every battle.
Identification, Nightcrawler. Civilian identity, Kurt Wagner. Affiliation, X-Men. Primary ability, teleportation. Intention. I think it's maybe intention. Intention, my intention. Intention, probably traumatic disassembly of major extremity. Appropriate countermeasures initiated.
Before I continue with narration,
Sure.
the intention is great, by the way.
Intention.
So, I like the idea of probably traumatic disassembly of major extremity, which obviously alludes that there is a minor extremity.
That's right.
I'm going to say that his arms and legs are both major extremities.
So what's his minor extremity?
Okay, that's good. And Chuck does say that, yes, Code 3 is lights and sirens.
Okay.
Code 2, of course, is lights but no sirens. And Code 1 is nothing.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you.
Learn something new every day. There you go.
I have to be honest. The only way I would probably know that is if I did more reading in life, or if I was trained for emergency response.
Sure.
Yeah, and luckily, my life has not gone in those directions because I'm not so great in an emergency, dude.
Sure.
And I'm illiterate. So, there you go. There is a flash of flame and the gusting stench of sulfur and brimstone. But the gentle bamf of imploding air is replaced by a scream none of Nightcrawler's fellow X-Men have heard from him or any living thing before. A mix of agony and terror beyond comprehension. Too suddenly cut short. Gone! Kurt is gone! Did he teleport? Was he disintegrated? Blessed goddess Nightcrawler, what happened?
This is the pathway to your destiny, if you've courage enough to take it.
It's a spiral.
How perceptive you are.
I can't see the top.
You will. Look around, turn to follow, and suddenly you dance another way. Spin, turn, twist, circle, a revolution of self as endings become beginnings, flowing together, apart, out with the old, celebrate the new.
What will I find?
What you seek.
I'm afraid.
Then walk away. I prefer to dance.
I know you, don't I?
Better by far. To know yourself.
You can change my face so no one will recognize me?
The Body Shop guarantees satisfaction or your money back.
She takes a first, hesitant step, a second, and with each, leaves a different reflection, different image of herself, frozen in a mirror behind her, forgotten. The ramble. Nearly done, nearly there. Must have hurt my left arm when I fell. Can't hardly move. It's starting to hurt like the devil. Oh. Oh.
Harry.
Almost no pulse. Or sorry, is that Wolverine, do you think?
No, I think that's Shaw. Isn't it? No, he's in
Yeah,
space.
okay.
So maybe it is Wolverine.
Oh, right. Yeah? Barely
Yeah.
breathing. Almost no pulse.
What is wrong? Target entity Leland has suffered a massive myocard. Is it micro? Is it myocardial?
Myocardial
Myocardial
infarction.
infraction.
No,
Colloquial
infarction. I'm
infarction.
not joking. Yeah, it's infarction is different than infraction.
Colloquial
This I do know.
referent. Heart attack. Prognosis terminal. Within a maximum of 500 seconds. Unit mass returning to normal. Restoration of nominal function to all internal systems in 187.3191 seconds. Priority given to defensive elements until full combat capacity regained. This unit is vulnerable to attack. Sensors online. Establishing scanning mode. Sweeping immediate vicinity for hostile crunch.
Ooh, yeah.
That's cool.
The body shop. The saleswoman is Grace personified, and Rachel, a halting marionette with tangled, broken strings, tries her staggering best to follow. So many images fill the mirrors. Rachel young, Rachel old, alone, with family, with friends, laughing, crying, triumphant, desolate, hunted. They are her memories, but she does not care, as she leaves them behind forever.
Alert, alarm, alert. Massive ongoing systems dysfunction. Anomaly, assault inconsistent with Colossus data file. That's because it's not only Colossus, chump. Don't you know I disrupt any electrical system I phase through? I phase myself into Peter's body and the pair of us up through the ground. Since he's way stronger than me, he made the surface in lots less time than it took me to reach him. And I was able to take Nimrod by surprise. Because Peter's armored form shielded me from his sensors. He's thrown for a loop, partner. Now finish the job.
Wham!
Wham.
I've been waiting for Colossus to have a moment. Come on, man. I want more. Yes, more
How about
Colossus.
this one? How about this one?
Whoa, boom! I love it. I love the lettering too. I'm trying to learn how to do this better.
Okay.
And I notice a lot of, like, obviously with letters, they overlap. And I've been trying to figure out, like, what's the style and the rationale. So it goes, the back letter is ahead of all the other ones, except for the double O is actually behind the M. And I wonder if I wouldn't have done that, but I would have maybe been wrong, because this reads better. I'm not sure if there's like a swing to it, but because it goes from front to back to front in terms of the overlapping, like it feels like it kind of moves. And I think the M is clearer as a letter. So I would have done it wrong, I think, but I don't know what the logic or like how you decide that.
Right. It does look pretty cool here, though, for sure.
It's so good. And I love how the one triangle pops out of his chest armor. Like, boop.
Oh, yeah.
That piece was so loose, like it was going to come out anyway.
It was cheap, yeah.
Yeah. Good splash.
I was hoping, as when I looked at this page, and then just go back for a second, as the arms reach up from the ground and grab his, Nimrod's ankles, basically.
Yeah.
I was almost like, I wanted to keep just to keep. I mean, he uses it as an anchor to be able to throw him, but like almost, I just want to see him like rip those legs apart.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the colorist couldn't decide if his hands are gloved or not.
Mm-hmm. Right.
In most panels, they are gloved, and the cover they are gloved, but the hands coming out of the ground are bare.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't really matter. I didn't actually bump against that in a big way.
This is also, when I was reading this particular sequence with Colossus, maybe getting a bit of a moment here, made me think of the, X-Men movie, Days of Future Past, where Colossus fights the Sentinels and just gets, one, he gets torn apart. Another one, he gets beat up, right? Like he tries his best to be the strong guy, and they counter him at every time. And it felt like as we're reading this, it felt kind of like, oh yeah, it's nice to see Colossus like get one up on this guy.
Yeah, and the fact also that like I when they work as a team, it's always better. So yeah, Team of the Kitty, they're good.
Totally.
The Body Shop, they've come so far. Their journey barely begun. Rachel's lifeblood stains her clothes, but she no longer bleeds. The wounds Wolverine inflicted are gone, as is so much else. Things precious, irreplaceable, giddily, joyously cast away. What matters most is the dance. The dance! She wants with all her heart to be like the saleswoman. And with each step, each lift of the arm, toss of the head, each mad and madcap smile, she is the Ramble. Selene, use cables, rocks, anything buried beneath Nimrod to bind him in place. He's still struggling to repair himself. Oh, no, it's you.
Oh, he's still struggling to repair himself. Beware, Storm, I cannot hold him long.
Goddess willing, that will not be necessary.
He is dying.
I know. Leland, forgive me, but we need your power a final time. If I can. Focus on Shaw. Overcome the force effect that hurls him upwards. Bring him back. As hard and fast as you can. Leland laughs, a hoarse wheeze that marks his final breath. But the light does not leave his eyes. Not yet. He holds off the shadow with will alone, denying the undeniable, refusing the inevitable, as he imbues Sebastian Shaw with the mass of a small meteor. Nimrod knows his danger, but can do nothing to avoid it. Whammo!
That's super cool, by the way.
Yeah.
Super cool.
And I do not like the fact that I am now having sympathy for these guys in the Hellfire Club.
Yep.
But I do.
Yeah. And then, I think this is actually kind of masterfully plotted out where how do you take out Nimrod? Well, we're going to use the mutant who can absorb energy so he won't get hurt or whatever. And we're going to have, he's already in space. We use the other mutant who control mass to basically turn him into a meteor. It's great. It's such a great action sequence.
I like how Storm took command of them too, right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Harry Leland sees the flash of Shaw's impact. And as that blinding glow fades, so at last does the sparkle from his eyes. Batman had his faults, but he made his exit with style. Shaw still breathing?
The Wolverine, but he is unconscious.
Get him clear. I'll take care of business. Guess what he's about to say about Wolverine's claws? Can you guess? The claws are forged of pure adamantium, the strongest metal known, able to cut solid steel as easily as butter. But before Wolverine can use them, Sucker did it to us again. Teleported himself to safety the minute we had him on the ropes. Each time he gets that much harder to beat. We don't find a way to nail him once and for all, and soon it'll be our turn.
Storm, do you hear? Sirens, the police. The Lord's Cardinal can no more afford to be around here than you X-Men. I offer the sanctuary of the Hellfire Club. Let this truce last a little longer. In Shaw's name, I guarantee your safe conduct.
Under the circumstances, Tessa, I have little alternative. Lead on. As the mutants gather their wounded and dead and hurriedly depart the battlefield, Storm's thoughts turn a final time to Rachel. With a desperate, despairing cry. Perhaps that is what makes Rachel pause atop the spiral path and turn to gaze at the last image, the final memory. The X-Men, my friends, my family. Why aren't I among them? Isn't that where I belong? No, that's over. That's done.
That's my spirit. Perform a final pirouette, little puppet, through the portal, into the spotlight. A star you'll be, my darling, deadly phoenix, in name as well as fact, but always dancing to Spiral's twisted tune. Bid farewell to your world, for you'll never see it again. The girl you were is gone. The life you led is no more. Both girl and life are mine to play with. What comes next? I decide.
Next, the morning after. Crazy. I actually don't remember what happens to her. So I'm excited to find out what happens next to Rachel. Hoping it's something good or interesting. And then I love the idea that here's the ad.
I know.
For a monumental part of my childhood. Getting my first issue of Classic X-Men started me on this journey of wanting to obviously know its history and go backward and be up to date on all of it, and is essentially the impetus for this show. But I did, I bought that issue, or I think I traded for it with a friend, and I still have my copy from 1986, or yeah, it was that year.
Is that art?
Crazy
art, by the way?
It is. It's Arthur Adams is the one who drew that piece.
Yep.
But it was heavily workshopped by at least two other artists over at Marvel. One guy whose name I forget in the bullpen. I always forget to give him credit, but he's the one who helped stage where Adam's characters should be and put them in a better perspective. Romita did a draft, and then another guy did another draft. Like Romita Sr. as art director, and then Adams worked over top of that, because Adams' first version of it is it's unusable.
Okay.
Yeah, so we mentioned before on the show, and I'm happy to say again, he talks a lot about how much he learned over the years of working on the Long Shot Limited series.
Right.
Because while the first issue took months and the rest of it took almost a couple of years to finish, he was constantly in contact with Anacenti and the editorial staff. And he was getting feedback and getting basically tutorials. So working on that limited series that had kind of no consequences almost. If you look at it from a Marvel brand point of view, it's a new character. It's an edge of the Marvel universe that doesn't exist elsewhere. It's just it's self-contained almost, unless you want to expand it. And so if it wasn't great, it was not going to hurt any other brands, or any other titles or characters. But during that time, Adams gets basically to go to Marvel College and get initiated into the craft of storytelling and all the pieces he needed. So he was if you read about him, he talks about how open he was and grateful he was for all the feedback and instruction he received during that time. But yeah, epic cover. Right there is right there is an update on it that Adams did. It's black and white print. I got that one in 2022, I think, at Fan Expo. Anyway, fun times.
And great issue. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
Teaming up the Hellfire
Stakes.
Club, and Rachel's gone off into something, and who knows where Nightcrawler is.
Yeah.
Right? And Leland sacrifices, or doesn't he has a heart attack, but he does the thing in the end where he gets to use his power to help them out. I thought it was great. Like I love that idea too, where enemies team up against something bigger threat. And then it was fun to see them use their powers. Like it was fun to see like Leland use his power very effectively against, because the Nimrod is not in his data bank, right? So he's a bit perplexed, I think. So it's good.
Also, I mean, in terms of the consequences, there's lots of room now in the Hellfire Club and the Inner Circle. So It's just Tessa, Celine, and Shaw.
Yeah.
And there's room for other people to come through. And off the top of my head, I can't think of the next time that we're going to see these guys. But like I said, it leaves room for there to be something coming up in the future. So neat to see it all. Yeah. See those clubs fall apart.
Yeah, it's a really fun issue. I really like that.
Yeah, and good choice for the cover. And I'm really happy that Colossus got a moment, because I've been really missing him since, I guess, his tussle with the Juggernaut, maybe. I feel like which is 30 issues ago. It just feels like we haven't had much fun with him, and his arc has been kind of stunted. So
I agree.
I need a little more Colossus in my life.
I agree. I feel like there have not been recently too many moments, too many issues, aside from some of the standout ones, Bearwater, Binder, Windsor Smith and stuff. But we've been kind of like, we've been really enjoying this Claremont Romita Jr. run. But this was a super fun comic. Yeah.
I'm glad. That's good. All right, let's quickly talk about Starbrand. No.
Starbrand.
Of course, this Saturday at the Whitby Central Library. I'm going to cough. I'm going to cough at Whitby. We're going to be there at Whitby FanCon, and along with so many other awesome comic book creators and craftspeople and artists. Friends of the show: Dave Pretorius, Jay Torres, Scott Chandler.
Yep.
Nelson Caetano.
Yep.
Who am I forgetting?
You know who's going to be there? We have to get on the show is Stephanie Cook.
Yes. We also need to get Ricky Lima on the show.
We have to get Ricky, who I will be driving to and from. So there you go.
So yeah, you got to seal that deal. Lots of great creators are coming out to Whitby, so it should be a really fun one to attend and get some awesome comics and get them signed, and the hangout. And I'm looking forward to hoping that we can play that X-Men game. I'm hoping.
The last time we were there, we played the classic arcade game and got pretty far. This time, we're going to finish it.
I hope so. Chuck says, good show tonight, fellas. Good-ish. Meaning good issue. No, it wasn't goodish. It was a good issue. Teach Pass says, great issue and great read, Jason and Chris. Thank you. The wordy body shop subplot foreshadowing did get in the way of the action, but Uncanny X-Men readers were used to it by this point. Yes. I think the first time I remember watching something that did this like A story, B story action tension thing was probably Return of the Jedi, and with the battle on the forest moon of Endor and the battle by the Death Star. And I love that cutting when it's both high stakes, like when it's both intense and fast moving, page. It can be really fun. But the Body Shop one was like a slowed down pace. She's pirouetting and dancing up a spiral ramp. And it was a much more internal and cerebral kind of experience. Whereas the X-Men fighting in Central Park against Nimrod, like a future Sentinel, like the pacing, they don't really go great together as a Lando and Yen Nine Nub in the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo and everyone and Luke Skywalker fighting on the Death Star. Like that was incredible. And this, yeah, when you do those cross cuts, it's got to be, I think, equal tension or the emotionality of them has to be a little more parallel. But yeah, there you go. Just this is at the end. You can find us, of course. Group7comics.ca is our website, and on all the socials at Group of 7 Comics, and that is there for you to do. Follow us, click like, follow, and subscribe, and that's all important stuff that helps us promote the channel, talk X-Men with more people, and that is a really good thing. Thank you, of course, to you, lovely Chris Sanagan. I'm looking forward to hanging with you on Saturday. Any of your kids coming, by the way?
No.
Smart. Yeah, that's it, dude. So stay Xy, everyone. Stay out there, stay Xy. Look after each other, be nice to other people, and be like the X-Men. Be outlaws that are feared and hunted, but still saving the world. Know what I'm saying?
It's a great, great code to live by.
Thanks, bub. And
watch out for the Mountain Music Man Festival happening this March somewhere.
All right, good idea. Cheers, everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you next time. End the stream.